Hey, how's it going? I'm Alan Robertson. I want to ask you, are you happy with how the world is running right now? And if not, would you like it if there's something really significant we could do about that to make things a lot more beautiful on the planet? If you are no to the first question and yes to the second, then you're with me, and this video is basically my condensation of what I've understood from Michael Tellinger's One Small Town Will Change the World initiative, which is, as far as my research over the years, it's the most viable action plan that I'm aware of to practically transform the world into a much more people and planet friendly way of being. And I invite you to take action with me by being part of my People's Collective and basically doing our part to build the upcoming golden age here. And I say, quote unquote, my People's Collective, because I'm trying to link in with other people that are doing this under the One Small Town banner right now. It's taking a while to get connected, and I'm just like, if I can't plug in there, that I have to basically do it on my own, and I have only my own skills and capabilities, so I need the help of everyone else. So if you resonate with what I'm about to share, then please get in touch and let's build this. Let's do this thing. So imagine, if you will, you live in a community where you get all of this stuff in exchange for contributing just 3 hours a week in an area where your talent and your passion benefits your community. So your house, your living quarters are given to you. Your education is given in whatever area to yourself or your children. There are people around that will freely rebuild your deck, rebuild your fence. You get high-grade, high-quality, non-toxic food contributed back to you in exchange for just 3 hours a week of your time. You get free electricity. You get free mountain bikes at the local bike library. You get dividends from all sorts of many businesses that your community owns and that you're a co-owner of in equal part. And basically, you're living a life where you get all of this beautiful stuff and you're thriving a lot more, and it's just 3 hours a week that's required of you, that you get to choose to contribute if you want to be part of this collective. You don't have to if you don't want to. And then it's just it's a world where we get to thrive, contribute our joys and passions to the world, and thrive together instead of being in slavery, money slavery and slavery under other things like we currently are. An artificial dark age, so to speak. So the how on this, ultimately it's like a change of heart on the planet and a change of each individual's relationship with life and how we operate. The way Michael Tellinger puts it forth is contributionism. We each contribute 3 hours per week of our labor of love to collective businesses and projects, and getting an equal share of everything produced by the collective, including monetary dividends of our businesses. And the idea is the collective produces enough of everything to supply its members fully, like food, electricity, bikes, musical instruments, vehicles, whatever, everything. And then we produce twice as much on top of that for export to be sold at a profit to other towns, other people that aren't members, which produces dividends, which we get an equal cut as members. So this is, instead of trying to get off grid, which basically leaves a few weak pockets of people trying to escape modern culture, we flip competition into collaboration and use the tools of enslavement, as Michael Tellinger often says, for our thriving, for our freedom, for liberation, and essentially make the old world that we're living in right now, the artificial dark age, obsolete. Pathway-wise, we focus on small towns with existing infrastructure, which these days often are falling apart. People moving to the cities, you got empty factories, and other amenities, which can be sources of abundant production for our collective, with its basically our large free labor force. For example, a town of 10,000 people, if you have a collective in a small town of 10,000 people that are each contributing their 3 hours per week, that's 120,000 hours, or 30,000 hours per week, or 120,000 hours of labor in our collective per month, which can go towards making our co-ops, like the people's businesses, profitable and productive, or doing community projects, beautifying the town or whatever. Michael Tellinger, and by the way, what I'm conveying in this video is my comprehension of what Michael Tellinger has put forth. So don't assume that what I'm saying is his word, and I trust him more as an expert in all of this material than I. So please look at the resources and go through his material, get up to date on what he's proposing, because I think it's awesome. And I'm just conveying what I've got in my own video so I can invite you to be part of my collective. So anyway, Tellinger does some math in a number of his videos that a town co-op of 10,000 members could be roughly as productive as $1 billion per annum corporation with the right management in place. And finally, if our collective partners with Michael Tellinger's One Small Town venture, so if we go under that banner, then we get access to all of the knowledge base there, like all sorts of new tech, including new free energy technology, which can replace existing streams and become another asset to the collective. But it has to be done strategically, and because we all know about the people that come out with their new technology that's going to save the world, and then they get taken out or whatever. So there's a strategy behind dealing with that side of things. Of course, hopefully we're coming into some disclosure pretty soon here with things. It's August 28th, 2023 right now as I record this. So this venture is about finding the places that we as humans are bleeding our life force into basically a ravenous machine of corporate capitalist slavery, and turning it around so that it's actually supporting us. And ways that we're bleeding right now with some of the turnarounds in how it could be different is mortgage interest, for example. We could replace all of sometimes people end up paying double the principal on their house in interest, depending on their interest rate they have through the years. So their house costs 3 times as much just because they're getting a bank loan. Whereas if we keep all of our capital within the co-op and we just finance our people, our homes, and we share the thriving that comes from that, we would basically replace it with zero loss financing, making housing far more affordable. And then we could even turn it into a real estate venture, like a rental empire, that people that aren't members can rent their houses as they do now. Whereas everybody in the collective gets basically gets a share of that, a dividend from that. Other ways that we're bleeding right now as humans: corporations selling us items for as high a profit as possible. They're trying to make profit off of us, and the plan is for these items to be useful just long enough that they can then sell us the next item, or the planned obsolescence, like things break or they become obsolete, so that we have to buy another iPhone or whatever, the next version, right? And stay in that cycle. Whereas within our collective, we can produce better quality items, because we actually win if we produce fewer items that are higher quality, and we just get to keep that as a member, it's like we're a family essentially. So that's turning around the corporate obsolescence thing. We've also got energy slavery on the planet, so petroleum reliance and reliance on big producers for heating, getting around in our vehicles, etc. So starting to turn that around, getting our own energy sources within our town, so we're not having to be a slave to energy corporations, basically. Loss of income, to another way that we're slaves is income tax. And through our co-op structure and bringing on people into our collective that are creative tax experts, we can do a lot of things, tap into the corporate thing to help reduce taxation for all of our members, while we create a lot more profit than other companies could, because we have a free labor force. Also, another way that we're bleeding as humans, or that we're in an artificial dark age, is that in a competitive culture, if I share all of my knowledge with you, then if I'm in competition with you, I don't want to do that, because you're gonna come back and kill me, basically. But if we consider ourselves a family, then I can share freely. One good university professor could make a great engineering program that's shared with anybody on the planet freely, and they all get their, of course we have some standardization for tests or whatever, but you get your everybody on the planet can now get the equivalent of a good understanding of engineering, and then isn't the planet going to be far better off if everyone can engineer something than if everybody has to pay $20,000 or 50 or whatever to get a certificate and then go on and on to, it's just like so much. Or the solutions for energy issues are already here, they're just not shared with the world because of people are profiting from us being in the dark, essentially. So we're turning competition around into collaboration, and this video is going way longer than I thought it would, so I'm going to try and hustle up here. The structure proposed by Michael Tellinger for doing this one small town venture, the co-op, is it's a people's collective, we the people. It's not a political thing, it's we the people, and we elect a people's council, which you can nominate anyone to be on it, your granny whom you trust. You know, some people that you really know their heart's in the right place to guide us. By nomination. The town mayor or political council could be a great marketing asset if they're a buy-in to what the collective wants to do. We the people control it, and if the mayor wants to be a marketing platform for that, then they get to be. Otherwise, we just replace the mayor and the town council. And most recent update is that Michael is suggesting to focus on the People's Collective first, and it's nice to have the mayor's support, but it's not where we focus our energy. Initially, he was suggesting get in touch with the mayor and get them to bring everybody else on. But I guess the idea is a lot of times they're so lost in kind of the old world political way of being that it's not a good use of energy. I didn't hear an in-depth answer with that. So love and light and care are at the heart of this venture and this way of being and transforming the world. And that doesn't mean we just kumbaya our way into the golden age. We do get qualified people to run our businesses in the co-op so that we're running as profitably as possible. We hire the necessary skill if it's not within our collective. The goal is, with our thousands of hours of free labor per month, to outcompete competitive corporate using our free labor force. And basically they can't beat us with their extraction model because we're together and sharing. And we also get the best creative tax accountants to make our co-op thrive, our co-op structure, which would be registered in Canada or whatever. So we're not going against or trying to escape because that's a great way to get crushed. So we're basically using the tools of enslavement as tools of liberation, as Michael often says. Anyone choosing to participate in the collective by contributing their 3 hours per week, they become an equal shareholder in everything within the entire collective venture, like equal in everything, which could end up being multiple profitable businesses, real estate ventures, tech ventures, new pharmaceutical research and production, new energy production. Whatever you can imagine, we can run that kind of business in our collective and share it together. And everything in the co-op is co-owned in equal share by all of the members of the collective. So we systemically, in that way, avoid corruption and profiteering. Of course, we'll have to monitor that, corruption. Tellinger suggests an optimal size of small town / collective is in the realm of 5,000 to 100,000 people. The larger the number, the more free labor we have, so that's a benefit to our collective, and more diversity of skills. So you got your doctors, your naturopaths, your inventors, your engineers, your strategists, your tax people. The more your town grows, the more diversity you have that we can tap into. So that's great. But in terms of not going too big, not going over 100,000 people, I don't remember exactly what that was about, but I think it was about it's harder to create as much unity in a bigger city and maybe less useful land or infrastructure for production in urban areas. So our collective's free labor force, along with business plans made for local ventures that are possible in our local area, these can be very attractive to investors. Michael proposes a deal structure where anyone that wants to invest can give the money to a venture that we want to start. So we'll have many business plans that we'll create, and an investor can give the money and they retain a third share of the business venture. And the co-op, the people, the collective retain 2/3, so we control it. And unlike conventional businesses, our businesses will be run on free labor, the contributions of our members, which is usually one of the largest expenses of a typical business. And also, because the collective doesn't have a need to run competing ventures within the town, like if we're a town collective, we don't need to run 2 bakeries, we just run a new bakery. We run 1 bakery, make it as profitable and effective as possible. And if somebody's like, hey, I really want this kind of sourdough, it's like, great, okay, why don't you go contribute your 3 hours in training us how to make this kind of sourdough that you love so much. We don't need to make another bakery that then competes and we bleed in competition. So investors that come in are also getting to be part of a basically a monopoly with free labor. Monopoly and free labor. Pretty good deal if you're an investor. And Michael, I don't have a ton of business background, only on small scale, but Michael says that typically when he sits down and shares the math with people, that they're like, when can we start? So if you know about business, you want to tell me what your view on all of this is, and check out his Michael Tellinger's stuff first, then I would love to hear your views on things. And so eventually the collective won't need to bring any outside investors anymore, because we'll be thriving and we will just be able to fund everything from within the dividends of the collective, and it'll be great. That's the idea. So here are some tenets, some ideals of one small town and contributionism, Ubuntu contributionism, which is one small town is based in Ubuntu. You can check out information about that below. So Ubuntu contributionism, a slogan or catchphrase for that is "I am because you are," and that's like we of ourselves as single humans, we're not designed to function alone, and so we need each other to really thrive, and that's what this is about. The Cherokee, I could be wrong on this, but it might be the Cherokee that had another saying which is similar, which is, if it's not good for everyone, it's no good at all. So tenets of the town, we're starting this collective, and we try to get food, water, and energy self-sufficient within the small town as soon as possible and provide for our members. So it's security, safety in our collective. Another tenet or idea, precept in this is ultimately money doesn't actually do anything. It's people that do everything. And in our towns, we don't avoid the use of dollars or yens or euro. We don't avoid the current currency system because, people can make that illegal one day or whatever, and then we're in trouble. And it's not particularly about barter either. It's, in fact, using the current money system to create so much abundance through collaboration that we basically come to a point where we see we don't actually need money anymore, because our food's coming in, we got shelter, we got electricity, we got all sorts of amenities and thriving. And look, we've also got money coming into our bank accounts, but oh look, we don't need it anymore. We just have so much, but we've got everything we need in our town anyway. So that's the target. And the goal is to make the co-op as innovative, productive, and wealthy as possible for all members of the co-op, so no one is left behind. Using the tools of enslavement as tools of liberation. Tools of enslavement in our society are money, energy, corporation, education, the education system, healthcare, pharma, the legal systems, all of these things. We use them to free ourselves because we have a collaborative advantage. And we eliminate destructive competition and extraction and usury, which is a lot of what happens in our society. So people can, if they choose, contribute 3 hours a week or more if they would like, for an equal share. And what this is not, and this is my interpretation of what Michael has said, please again check out his materials. He's the man who's been on this journey for 20 years working with this ideology and this system of approach. So we're not doing a hippie commune trying to escape the world. That's not providing a scalable solution to actually deal with the momentum of kind of the old dark age that's going on now. We're not trying to avoid money. We're not trying to just go to strictly barter or trade. We're not trying to make our own currency. It's about using the dollar as well to thrive and use that. So we're not creating problems of fighting against a massive behemoth that's designed to crush everything that resists it. And this is not forced contribution. It's not... before you say it's communism, I suggest you look more into the specifics of what Michael Tellinger's put forth. So it's not, nobody's forced to contribute. People in the town, if they don't want to contribute their 3 hours, that's fine. They can go about doing their life. They just don't get any dividends or benefits that the others do from the collective. And the idea is, fence sitters come a certain point. It's like they're going to see their friend getting a new laptop, which is better than a MacBook, that's produced by our One Small Town venture, just included because they're contributing 3 hours a week, and they get their food and their shelter, and they get to ride community mountain bikes out in the mountains and whatever, all for 3 hours a week, get their rent paid. How long is your friend going to sit on the fence working at, bleeding their money into corporate while you're getting all these benefits for 3 hours a week, doing something that you're talented at and being appreciated for in the community? So this system is designed to basically deprecate the old way. So that's my summary of what I've gleaned from reading firstly Michael Tellinger's Ubuntu Contributionism ebook and watching all of Michael Tellinger's got a YouTube channel. He's got 66 videos in a One Small Town playlist. I've watched all of those videos. And then most recently I watched on his website, his dedicated website, he's got a 10-hour One Small Town implementation training from, well, it's a couple of years old now, 2021, but definitely gives more detail than some of the stuff in the YouTube playlist. And at this point, I feel called to live in a world like the one Michael describes, and I've described to you in my own words from my own lens. And basically where there's so much thriving that people can contribute what they're talented at and love for the benefit of the whole, and where we overturn the slavery systems that are currently operating on the planet and keeping people scrambling day to day, grinding for money and survival. I am currently trying to get in touch with people that are more directly involved in the One Small Town venture around the world, and particularly here in Alberta. I'm in Calgary here. And so they have launched they've launched a One Small Town venture in Ras El Matin in Lebanon. It's a town or district there. And then Kurdiman district, or I think it's a number of municipalities there in South Africa. I'm not aware of anything tangible in Canada yet going on. So if they get back to me and there's something significant going on in Canada already, I'll probably be just happy to join efforts with them and build with them, because I mean, Michael and gang have been at this stuff way longer, and I'm really excited about it and want to contribute my time and be part of that. But for the time being, the pathway to building One Small Town is, no matter where it gets implemented, the pathway to doing it is to build a people's collective who resonate with the image, the vision of this, and to, with that group of people as it grows, elect a people's council. He suggests 12, it's a group of 13 heads, the town elders, basically, the people's elders, circle of elders, like 12 around one who could be the voice of the people when needing to, spokesperson. And then we come together as a group of we the people. This is not a political party, it's we the people coming together. And we do think tanks. We identify the best business ventures, the kinds of food that we can grow around this area, the properties that are around, what kind of factories are dormant or available right now, or like where the lakes are, how do food systems work. We can come together, what herbs can we grow locally and create medicines or profitable adaptogens or health products that we just look at everything we can do. We could even do apps or internet programs, or people that love computer games could make our town's computer games to be sold outside and have people contributing hours per week to the collective to program and do programming. Like anything we can think of that could be. How about for our own pharmaceutical companies? Food, electricity, and pharmaceuticals is what Michael Tellinger suggests are ones we want to go for immediately. But it can be, basically, we come together as people and we come up with business plans for things we can start that can benefit the collective, especially businesses that we can inject free labor into and make very highly profitable because we have the benefit of our free labor. So we identify businesses, and then when we're ready to go, and by the way, if you're on my website right now, or you go to alan-robertson.ca/thrive-collective, then you'll see a list of, I brainstormed for an hour and came up with business ideas that you can read about below. But once we grow the People's Collective, we're happy with the Circle of Elders, and we have some business ventures that are talented people that know how to run a business and have experience in these areas. We have the thumbs up on it, then we can basically say, go, who wants to, in our collective, do the contributing the 3 hours, and we launch this thing, and we basically start building. And people can have their own separate lives and do what they're doing right now, and come and contribute their 3 hours a week, and we start building the momentum for this other world, which eventually basically makes the old world obsolete. Also, Michael has already developed some digital systems for tracking people's 3-hour contributions, as well as calculating returns on businesses within the town and all of this, and also for managing business plans and ideas and stuff like this. So If you want to sign up as a member of the Global One Small Town Initiative, which I suggest you do, I request you do, it's free and you don't have to give any of your time, but you get a digital wallet with some Infinity tokens, which is part of the management system that Michael has developed. Then you go to ost-platform.com and become a member. And to build something around here in Alberta, or it could be that we have a collective here that has an Alberta contingent and we have a Costa Rica contingent and we run both areas and people get to move back and forth during the winter, whatever. But we need to build the People's Collective. So if you want to be part of my collective, again I say it's my quote unquote because ultimately I didn't invent any of this and I don't have the skills to run a collective on my own. I'm not a politician or whatever, but I feel a fire to do my part right now. So I invite you to join me. If you want to be part of just the conversations that I'm having with people, my group of people that are interested in this, then please just go to my contact form at alan-robertson.ca. You'll see my contact form. And I look forward to hearing from you if you're interested in talking about this and creating a solution. Because it's all about us. We are the ones we've been waiting for. So let's do this. Thanks for watching this and all my best to you.